2025 gave us some amazing movies, and then it gave us some that we never wanted. Whether it's Oscar winners lost in low-quality scripts or CGI disasters that somehow cost more than the GDP of small countries, we've sat through them all, so you don't have to. So buckle up and hold on tight, because we're counting down the 10 worst movies of 2025 so far. Oh, and don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and let us know in the comments which of these cinematic catastrophes personally offended you the most. Love Hurts.
Sorry, brother.
Love Hurts is a movie that stars two Oscar-winning actors, Ke Huy Quan and Ariana DeBose. But it has to be the biggest disappointment of the year so far. Quan gives his all to a role that doesn't do justice to his career. As a retired hitman forced to come out of retirement, he tries to protect the woman he loves, played by Ariana DeBose. Ariana's own post-Oscar career so far makes Ke Huy Quan look like Olivier in his prime. The film is clearly trimmed to the absolute minimum as it runs barely 80 minutes, including credits.
Now let's finish this together.
You want the old me?
The script has zero time to explain why Quan and DeBose's characters would ever fall for each other, despite their wildly different temperaments and ambitions. Oh, don't forget about their ages, cause DeBose is almost 20 years younger than Quan. The film tries to be a rom-com and an action movie at the same time, ultimately failing to be any of them. Bride Hard.
I know I've let you down as a friend, but I did kill a bunch of dudes for you.
There are plenty of choices if you want a good action movie from 2025, but if you'd rather want something pretty bad, then you have Bride Hard. To reach the heights of Die Hard, it actually stayed in line with the title. It's Die Hard, but at a wedding instead of a Christmas party, and it's not close to its idol at all. The film tries to be a comedy, but horribly fails.
I thought she was... Yeah! She's a total badass secret agent.
Even Die Hard is technically funnier with its occasional comic reliefs, even though it isn't comedy. Weak plot, poor acting, lack of originality, and mostly, a lack of genuine humor in a comedy. You can find it all in Bride Hard. If you want to look on the bride side of this movie, then you can brag after surviving a movie like Bride Hard. Flight Risk.
He's there to shoot you down.
Come on, damn it!
Flight Risk tries to be a high-flying thriller but crashes before it even leaves the runway. Marking Mel Gibson's return to directing, the film stars Mark Wahlberg as a pilot with secrets, having the potential to be a fun, tense ride. What we got instead was a snooze fest disguised as a thriller. Most of the movie takes place inside a small plane, which might work if the writing or acting had any lift. But Wahlberg delivers his lines like he's on autopilot, and Gibson's direction feels like it's stuck in the early 2000s. The tension is so poorly built that even turbulence would be a welcome twist. Throwing in some green screen couldn't lift the audience up, as it was terrible with a ludicrous plot twist and zero chemistry between characters. And you have a film that manages to waste a great title. Honestly, the only real risk here is watching it. Snow White.
You were saying...
I'm sorry, my dear.
Let's admit, Snow White is an ancient character by now, and we've said it all about her, haven't we? The 2.1 rating on IMDb says it all, I guess. Disney didn't put much effort on making Snow White look like something else other than a musical. The CGI could be far better, especially the seven dwarfs were totally unreal, and to some extent bizarre. Some looked like they were designed by an AI. The failed attempt to make Snow White a more active heroine dragged the movie even downwards.
From the Queen here.
The Queen stole everything from all of us.
I'm gonna need your help.
With a jaw-dropping budget of nearly $300 million, the film managed to bring back only $200 million. In short, it's a movie that no one really seemed interested in. Though Disney keeps remaking things that were already classics, and the damage has probably been undone by the immense success of the 2025 version of Lilo and Stitch, the Snow White should be a lesson learned. Fountain of Youth.
You can't succeed.
Directed by Guy Ritchie and starring John Krasinski and Natalie Portman, Fountain of Youth has all the A-listed talents in the world. Still, the title couldn't bring the feels of a real movie. While reviews call it a disappointing and forgettable adventure film, it is criticized for its weak plot, poor character development, and little to none action sequences. The film failed to live up to the standards of films it attempts to compete with. In the film, two estranged siblings, Krasinski and Portman, are searching for the mythical Fountain of Youth. But their adventure is really a weird mixture of Indiana Jones and Uncharted. Despite the high-stakes expectations, many reviewers found the film to be emotionally shallow and lacking in genuine emotional resonance. The movie attempts to blend humor with intense action sequences, but the result is often a tonal mishmash that feels inconsistent. To sum up, the film fails to capture the creativity of the countless action-adventure flicks it cribs from. In the Lost Lands,
it's not too late to turn back.
One always has to die.
In the Lost Lands might sound like a bold fantasy epic, and it should be, considering it stars Milla Jovovich and Dave Bautista and is based on a story by George R.R. Martin. But instead, it ends up looking like a Comic-Con cosplay contest with a $50 million budget. The film throws you into a grim, magic-infused world, and then immediately forgets what it wants to do with it. Milla, playing a shape-shifting witch, broods and growls through scenes like she's in a leftover Resident Evil movie. Bautista flexes and shouts a lot, which is pretty all he does.
This is the moment we've been working for.
The dialogue is stiff, and the CGI is somehow both overused and underwhelming. Just a generic plot and bland execution with a very forgettable fantasy world. To no surprise, the film slid into limited release charts before critics could sharpen their pens. Some reviews said that the film just ruined Martin's short story, which itself is a masterpiece. The Alto Knights. Next up is The Alto Knights. To all our surprises, Robert De Niro played both lead roles in the film. We all understand when one actor is cast as a pair of siblings or clones, or even a father and a son at similar ages. But De Niro in The Alto Knights plays two different men who are not related by any means. This bold but utterly distracting choice turned The Alto Knights into a marketing hook.
He's up to something.
I'm telling you, he's not going to try anything.
Warner Brothers could even advertise the film as the chance to see Robert De Niro go against Robert De Niro. This could just be Robert De Niro's worst role in Hollywood. Except for a Niro v. Niro battle, the film looks like a tired gangster film. The attempted sadness was supposed to bring emotion to the audiences. Instead, it made the film look quite unreal. Hurry Up Tomorrow. We all know that the lives of world-famous recording artists are exciting and glamorous, but Hurry Up Tomorrow imagines that to be dull. The film stars Abel Tesfaye, aka The Weeknd, as a miserable, depressed version of himself struggling with insomnia. What Hurry Up Tomorrow tells us is that The Weeknd occasionally performs and has joyless parties with his manager. There are scenes where he sits in front of a mirror and cries. Then comes the obsessive fan, Jenna Ortega, and she kidnaps Tesfaye. And this is the entire plot of this miserable title. Trey Edward Schultz's last 3 movies in a row were acclaimed by fans and critics alike, but this one is a slip-up that he would probably want to forget. The same can be said for Jenna Ortega, as the Wednesday star didn't have much to work with, but now that The Weeknd has been in both The Idol and this movie, he better stay with the music world. The Electric State. From the Russo brothers, and based on the popular graphic novel, The Electric State should have been 2025's next sci-fi gem. Instead, it's a perfect case study in how to burn through a Netflix-sized budget with absolutely nothing to show for it. Millie Bobby Brown leads the film as a teenager traveling through a retro-futuristic wasteland with a robot, and that's about as interesting as it gets. The movie is stuffed with visual effects and yet somehow still manages to look cheap, like someone filtered Mad Max through an Instagram reel.
You can't change the way things are. Watch me.
Chris Pratt phones in yet another performance, while the story crawls forward with no real stakes or emotional core, and there is no urgency either. What should have been a unique coming-of-age journey through a tech-ruined America ends up being a shallow, digital mess. You'd be better off flipping through the original book's illustrations. At least those have personality. Star Trek Section 31.
2, 1.
We survive together.
Remember when Star Trek used to be about exploration, diplomacy, and the occasional philosophical dilemma? Well, Section 31 remembered none of that. Starring Michelle Yeoh as Emperor Philippa Georgiou, this Paramount Plus special was supposed to be one of the most exciting events of the year, and it was, until it came to the screens. It ended up being more like a homework assignment for Trek fans. The film tries to sell itself as a sleek, dark espionage thriller within the Star Trek universe. What it delivers is a 90-minute slugfest of exposition and weak plot devices.
This is gonna be bad.
5, 4.
Hold your course.
The action is flat, the visuals are recycled, and the tone is so self-serious it borders on parody. Fans hoped for a gritty spin-off. Instead, they got the Star Trek equivalent of a moody teenager slamming doors and saying, "You just don't get me." And no, we really don't, because the script never gives us a reason to.